on you.
You hung up on me? Wow.
Yeah, trying to.
Trying to what?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
I ain't got time. Mm-hmm.
Okay, on that.
Are you sure?
Hey, yeah. I'm gonna lay the phone down so I won't be missing it. You sister got time to give me to stay abreast of this modern technology with these things here.
What, the AirPods?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Her boyfriend bought her new pair. She gave me the old pair.
Oh.
Ain't that cool?
Yeah. Let me say this thing.
Hey, you gotta sit up, child.
I'm gonna say something.
Well, what you gonna do when you get stimulated? Pay a bill.
Wow. I'm gonna pay I'm gonna start my business bank account, hopefully. Oh no, that's what I'm doing. Hopefully my EIN number be in by then.
So you know I can't get no loan, so no nothing loan in my 95. I'm paying out this bank.
Why would you want to get a loan?
I was trying to get a credit card. Prepaid credit card is taking yours sitting there. If you start paying out somehow to some of them people that you owe will contact you and you want that money. I said, even with that, but I ain't checking.
All right, baby.
It's out. That's what you want to talk about. You said it's COVID and can't have people getting it. You said some people's lives gonna change so that they get their medical bills and people down.
Not necessarily because Trump won't let you do that. Trump passed a bill that no like hidden bills or nothing like that with doctor bills. That's like no, he passed that bill.
Well, that won't be on your credit, but you still got to pay it.
I mean, no, but the bill is they can't give like whatever they say when you go to the hospital. That's your bill. They can't give you hidden bills and stuff.
Well, I'm just saying it don't matter. It's don't.
I mean, but that's normally where people could. That's what come. I mean, yeah.
What?
Nothing.
God, you know they had said you were dead, right?
Who?
Oh, damn. Lord.
Bernard.
Leonard.
Oh, who are we talking about?
Mary Denise.
Oh.
You get what you gonna put on?
Am I still gonna do what?
You didn't know she was on a respirator.
Yeah, I did know she was on a respirator. You saying that he said that she died?
Who does?
Oh, wow. This nigga.
Siobhan.
Oh, poor Siobhan.
She cussing like old people used to. Hey, you got this podcast stuff in the chat.
Yeah, I got my stuff set up.
Okay, we ready. Let's go.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm still recording. So, state your name, age, and how you know me.
My name is Sonia Faye McKinney. My age is none of your business. Anyway, and I know you because I am your mother.
Oh, okay. Ooh, mom, you such a Southern belle will not tell your age. You should be proud of your age. So
I'm
I
proud to be alive.
so I am doing a series on people who have inspired me or do inspire me um, throughout my life. And one way that you inspire me is that you are the first example I saw of persistency and, excuse my French, but not giving a fuck on what people think about you. And I have carried those things with me throughout life, and I really think those are valuable things to pass on. So, you just
Before
found.
you go any further, let me say this. It's strange how people from the outside can look at the situation and perceive this, and it's not like this. Because, first of all, the two things that you said you admire about me, I'm lacking in both areas. I've never hardly ever completed anything. When I start a task, I don't have the spirit of don't give up, don't quit. The only thing I ever completed was raising my children and going through breast cancer. Those things are like life, just like breathing to me. And I used to care. I did at one time what people thought about me, but through life changes and experiences, it put me in a place to let me say, why do I care? Because you just like me, you just human. So me putting a lot of energy into how you feel about me is crazy on my part. So that took a lot of evolution through the years. But I appreciate that. I'm thankful and grateful that you see the little public grass of your ass at the continue on her.
That voice, Sharonda. Hello?
I'm serious.
Oh, okay. You kicked Sharonda out the room?
I'm trying to name that's me. I'm in here by myself.
Oh. Alright, so you just debunked my whole reason for picking you. On with the questions.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, another question.
Have you ever dealt with depression or anxiety?
Yes,
Okay.
I have.
So how did you overcome it?
There's probably not a single parent in the world that's unto themselves that was not anxious and or depressed about being that alone. As far as overcoming depression, the way I overcame it was by an internal examination. Because to me, what depression is a series of episodes that happen in your life where you're disappointed in yourself. A lot of people are putting on external forces, but it's all internal because you can have so many thoughts and expectations about where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing in life, and what you have to give or to take from life. And when you don't meet those expectations, it feels like a heavy weight. And when it's heavy, things
Amen,
are heavy,
sister.
they become dark. And if you're in a heavy and a dark place, that's a place of depression.
Right.
So when you have children and you're a single parent and you see that, you look back and say, I made a bad decision. And the cycle of bad decisions are now trickling down on my children. That will put you in a place of heaviness because now you have this burden, this weight on your back because I'm responsible for these children and I'm doing this alone, which is unnatural. And then you get in a dark place because when it's unnatural, it's not familiar. So you're in a dark place and you don't know how to maneuver, you don't know where to go. So commonly, you're going to be depressed. So what we have to understand, anything that's heavy and dark, you know I'm going to say this, anything that's heavy and dark, it's from the enemy, it's from the devil. So when he gets your mind to go to that place, that's just a diversion. It's a diversion to mean it's an absence of light. He just diverts you from being in the light and in the knowledge of knowing who I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, and where I'm supposed to be going.
That's dope. So, how would you define happiness?
Happiness to me is the opposite of just what I described. It's being knowledgeable. It's realizing that we are not our own, but we were all bought with a price, and that we're just benefactors. We're beneficiaries of the life that God has set forth for us. Anything outside of that is a lie. and it cannot reproduce the fruits of happiness. The only time you're happy is when you're walking in the truth. And the truth is that we were created by a divine and loving creator. And when we step into the places where he has designed on his map of life, step into those places and get those fruits and reap those benefits and do the things he says, that's happiness. Everything else is fake.
Okay.
And to go from the Lord to say this, but this is what I'm going to say. It's not only fake, but it's fake as fuck.
Wow. Okay, so it's safe to say that you think it is obtainable.
Huh?
I said, so it's safe to say that you do feel like happiness is obtainable.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's necessary for us to have a long life. Because when you meet people, just say when you meet people and they find that thing that they were created to do, you met people like that they know this is what I was here to do. They seem to know where to put everything in life. Because just because you're happy or you living for God or you walking in authority, it does not mean that life challenges won't be thrown at you.
Right.
It just means that you're now in a position to know what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So happiness is truly obtainable. The reason why it's obtainable, because when I'm walking in truth, I'm happy. You can't make me happy. So let me say this. This is what is really going on right now with a lot of people. We go to the wrong places looking for the right things. I can't go to you to look for you to give me something that you do not possess.
Right.
Did you understand what I was saying then?
Yeah.
So translate that back to me. How would you say that?
I mean, in the same sense that I tell.
If I go,
I'm saying, I know what you're saying, because in the same sense, that's what I tell my other siblings when dealing with Daddy. Honestly, I'm like, y'all know who this man is. He's shown you time and time again. Why would you go to him expecting certain things that you know he is just not capable of, and he just hasn't grown into yet still? So, yeah, so I get what you're saying.
But it's not just with that. I'm just talking about, like, especially when people get relationships. Okay, just take relationships, for example. People will say, I'm going to go get this person, and then when things trickle down to the real nitty-gritty, I don't want to be with them no more because they don't make me happy. It's not a partner or a husband or wife or a child's responsibility. It's not anybody else's responsibility to make you happy.
Right, it's your own.
They don't possess that capability. It's not anybody else's responsibility to boost your self-esteem, right, because it's the esteem of yourself.
In the famous words of Cat Williams.
When we learn where to put things and position things, we will be better as a whole human race. Not just as a people, not just as black people or white people, but as a human race, we'll be better. Stop. The main thing that we need to do in this country, the United States of America right now, stop looking at the other race and saying, so they don't do X, Y, Z for us. That's not their job. Right. Their job is to do what they do. It's our job to do that for ourselves. We need to have more self-respect. That means respect for yourself. Do things to boost your own self-esteem, esteem about yourself. Do things to put you in a position to say, I know I'm an overcomer and I can fight this challenge that's before me and be victorious over it. Why? Because you can look back on the roadmap of our forefathers and our ancestors in our lives and you can see, baby, they came here, they didn't even know the language. They didn't have a piece of land, they didn't have anything. We went from there to here. That same DNA is in me. So come on, bring it on. What we got to do? But we have, y'all, younger people, have conditioned yourselves to just, oh, that's old folk talk. No, that's in you. You possess that quality. So dig down and get that quality and keep this thing moving. Because it's at a point now where it's not moving anymore. You don't look, Donald Trump can't be no more than what he is, Donald Trump. He can't be anything else.
to piggyback off what you just
That's what he
said,
can be.
to piggyback what you just said about young people, I don't necessarily think that. I mean that does have a part to do with it, but also you got to look at the people that's teaching young people now. It's not the same.
Well, see,
It's
this is
not the
what you have to
same.
do. You have to be selective.
Right.
And by that,
But what if you
have to select and choose the people that you say, I value you enough to be influential in my life so I can use this pattern. Young people, y'all, you will take a person that you don't have no respect for, that you know is not even supposed to be in your life, that don't mean you no good, and if they say something about you, your feelings hurt. Why? Why would a person like that, why would that person hurt your feelings? I don't even understand. There's nothing in your life. So pass on by it. Because like I said, at the end of the day, they're going to do what they're designed to do. You don't go to a KKK meeting thinking that they're going to have Afro picks and black fister. That's not their need. So don't go to the KK meeting. Go to the NAACP meeting. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if they protesting and they marching and they saying something and you don't want to hear it, then don't go to that protest. Don't pay that no attention. And people say that's ignorant. That's not. No, it's not. Because I tell you what you can do. Anything that you ignore, it will die. I guarantee you that. Get you a plant and put it in the window. Water it and fertilize it and give it sunlight for a week. The next week, don't do it. Watch it start dying. And that's what we have to do. Instead of putting energy into something that needs to be dead already, take that same energy and come back around. And if you see a young man like an Anthony, Spud, whatever we call you today, or you see a young man like a dude at my work, we call him, on my job, we call him Red. If you see these young people trying to go out and start, they make their own way, start a path of entrepreneurship, and give something to the company and make something of themselves, encourage them. And tell them, look at man, you can do this. Don't go to them with all that old fancy. Then say it like I said, say it in turn, they can understand. Look at man, you can do this. The other people doing it, so if they doing it, why come you can't do it? And then you'll dig down and you'll say, there might be something to that. Because we spend too much time on stuff. You looking for Donald Trump to validate you. He ain't gonna do that, bro. You know. Okay, you know I'm finna cook.
Okay, now that mama, you look, we gonna pause you right there, cause ain't nobody but the KKK looking for Donald Trump to nothing for them.
But you know, it's a lot of people, a lot of us. They'll be honest. There's a lot of us. We spend a lot of time. Well, why you don't know? Why they don't? They can't. They're not capable. Like I said,
honestly speaking,
you're looking for somebody to give to you what they don't have.
I mean,
he's not capable of that. So just don't waste your time on that.
And honestly speaking, I can't relate to that too much because, like I said, the reason I chose you for my documentary and for the podcast stuff is because you gave, like, I saw, like, on the exterior how, you know, it just was stuff that you weren't, like, it's okay for y'all to have an opinion and say what you got to say and do what you have to do, but at the end of the day, I really don't care about it, and I'm still going to do what's best for me and mine. You know, that's what, so, like, I've never been one of those people that's, since I took that so young, I've never been one of those people that just, like, care what anybody thinks about me at any given moment. Like, I look at it like it's your loss at the end of the day because whoever you are, if you don't want to be a part of me in my life, it's sad for you. You know, but really get right back on in. Speaking about life, okay, and we've talked about happiness. Is it obtainable? Have you ever dealt with depression or anxiety? How did you overcome it? All of that. What was the life moment that made you say, enough is enough, I'm taking back my life? Like, I'm going to stop being depressed or anxious about stuff. I'm going to overcome that, and I'm going to obtain my happiness. What was the moment in life that made you say, enough is enough, and you taking it back?
This is going to sound totally ironic and unbelievable, but it was the very moment that Dr. Sanders looked at me and said, you have triple negative breast cancer. And I didn't think, oh, okay, this is I was death sentence. Immediately in my mind, I thought, okay, so this is the time I got to beat this, and when I get over this, you know, now I really don't care what nobody thinks about me. Right. For real. Because I go to Walmart with a dust on. So what you gonna do? You can't whoop me. I ain't even worried about that. And at that moment, I realized how you could just You can lay down one night and think everything is okay and put on this big pretense about I got it all together and just wake up the next day and your whole world just
It's
crashed.
changed.
And I really have wasted worrying about how you feel about me, not gonna do it. And it's not that I don't have compassion for people, that I don't want to be around people, but it's just that it's just to a point where I have realized I can't put all my energy into someone that I know does not have the capabilities of reciprocating certain things that I know is necessary to be reciprocated in my life. By that I mean, if I give out my love and my compassion and my understanding, if I continuously give it out to you, at some point I gotta get it put back in.
You're gonna
You
run
know what I'm
out.
saying? So if I'm dealing with you and you ain't putting back in nothing, then what I got to do, homie, is cut you loose. So once I finished cutting everybody loose, I didn't no longer had a circle. I just had a dot.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm glad I learned that.
And that was cool with that.
It took me about 8 years to learn that lesson
Blake,
for real, but I learned it early.
Blake
We ain't doing no name calling song.
Blake
We can't do no name calling song. Okay, all right then. So the moment, see, you just going off on tangents, good. You was talking about what moment in life was enough, and you started laying out names. Hush your mouth, child. Hush. So,
and I played my part because I didn't always do what I was supposed to do.
I mean, so.
But I've apologized and I tried to make amends for that, because that was just me doing. I didn't know excuse, but I could have did better, because I feel like one of the greatest letdowns and the biggest tragedies that was in our family dynamic was me putting a lot of pressure on y'all to be the best children, the best students, but I didn't put that same standard up against myself. And children, they mimic better than they obey.
Right.
So if I would have set that example, it would have been a lot better.
Right. I mean, in your defense, you saw the greatness in us, because I mean, you had some amazing children, and I'm not too no harm, but we have the capacity and capabilities if we just learn how to tap into it. Me, Sharon, and P, we could like really be some dope and do some dope things. I mean, but we still got time though. But I mean, you saw that, so that's why you pushed for it. But I mean, you right about what you said. You really should have. Like, I wanted you to. Like, that's always been my fuss for you in life is, look, go be great. Like, you have so many talents and you so smart. If the people haven't heard by now, you've been dropping gems since you started talking 15, 20, 30 minutes ago. But, I don't know. I think you were so focused. I think you're so tunnel vision when you get set on a goal about something that your tunnel vision it was about us and it wasn't about you anymore. And so that's why you didn't ever put that drive back on yourself. And I always hated it. And I always wanted you to put that back into yourself.
You don't have time to put no peripherals on and look all around and look back and do whatever. You just have to put your thoughts toward the goal, put your face like flint, and let it ride. Because if you do anything else and you try to look around and figure it out, it's so overwhelming. You're just back where we started from.
I mean, but you know what, Mama, for you though,
it's hard to pull yourself out of it because it's not natural. That's not how it was designed to set up.
Right.
So I didn't really know the gravity until all y'all left the house, and I was like, woo, that was a lot. Mm-hmm. But it was over there.
Right. I mean, but I'm saying, like, honestly though, I would have. I would have respected the fact that, you know, you allowed us to restart and reset back if you could have taken some of that energy that you put into us and put it into yourself too, because you're an amazing person. Like, with all the dynamics of stuff that you could like have the potential to do, you're a Black Martha Stewart. I don't understand why you ain't realized that you are the Black Martha Stewart of Mississippi. Street smart and so creative that any doggone Stepford housewife, midwife, or wannabe would be like, oh my gosh, Sonya's just amazing. This is so great. Have y'all heard about the latest dish that Sonya told you to try? Yeah, she got it off HGTV. Like, but you just never, you never did. But like I always say, it's never too late. You're still breathing, and we are going to move on. You've been giving advice all night. Great advice, and we appreciate it. But Speaking back to the topic of all of what we've been talking about.
Depression.
Well, all of it. Obtaining happiness, depression, anxiety, overcoming it, any aspect of what we've been talking about. What advice would you give someone dealing with all of those things?
The best advice that anybody could get out of this whole conversation is we as human beings were never designed to tote that big burden anyway. So it may sound, some people say, old focus, solely cliche or whatever. But the best thing to do when you get into that moment is say, oh, okay. Because after you've been depressed so many times, you can recognize it coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, the best position to get is in a position of prayer and a position of acceptance. Because it's not designed for us to tote. And if we turn it over, it's not just, oh, okay, well, I'm just turning it over to the Lord, I'm done with it. You turn it over, and then He gives you power, authority, and direction to go in, because that is energy. Depression is energy. So it's a negative energy. So when you have a lot of negative energy, you don't have room for positive energy. So get rid of it and get the positive. And I don't care what your situation is, what you're going through in life, what you got going on. Every single person in the world, even the worst person in the world, has something positive and good in them. And I know people are saying, well, how do you figure that? Because of this one element right here. The Bible says God is good. And God is the creator of all things. So if God is the creator of all things and He is good, He created you, and it is some good in you.
Right.
Period.
Right.
We just have to want that. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a time where I met a guy and he told me this. I never have heard, this is the kind of men that I deal with, so y'all just look over there. But I never heard a guy tell me this. A guy told me, he said, every day I make a conscious attempt to be a good man.
You have to.
I was just like you said.
You have to. No. You have to be a black man in America is to be a man enraged at all times, like James Baldwin said. Like you have to make it an effort. I've realized that this year. Somebody told me like a couple of years ago that when you turn, a man told me, he was like, when you turn 30, they're going to try to break you, bro. Don't let them break you. And I never knew what he was talking about, so I was just like, okay. But now that I have turned 30, I really know what that means, like to have to make yourself be a good dude every day. Like, you want to hate so many people for so much just because they give you shit about being a black dude. Like, you know, you get a certain look at, you know, we get looked at a certain way, you know, by certain people and stuff like that. Like, it's an instant fear and stuff like that. So, yeah, you have to work at being a good black man.
But the way you overcome fear is with love. And the way you do that is the love of Christ in you should just look at them people and say they don't even know no better.
And that's what I do. That's what I do. I look at them and say they don't know no better because...
You're going to say that your life is up, it's a whole different dynamic. But what I'm saying is, it's not going to go anywhere. We can wish and hope that it goes somewhere all at once, but it's not going anywhere because people been flexing ever since Donald Trump been in office. I'm talking about big flexing. This is our America. We made this and we can do this and we can say that. Oh, okay, I don't know who told you that. So what we got to do as the people, we got to come together, learn, educate ourselves, learn our rights, learn, educate ourselves in the spiritual realm, what we are, who we are, and who our Creator is, and walk on that. Because they don't want you to walk and be successful, that don't mean you don't get to walk and be successful. There's a lot of things I don't want, but it still happens. Don't get in that power. Because once you let a person, if you the type of person like you're an extrovert, you don't be strange, you always talking. But if somebody come in the room that I can't mention their name on this podcast, if he come in the room and your whole attitude changes, your whole perception about your day changes, you have automatically at that point in time rendered control over yourself over him.
Yeah.
Why? And I don't even like you, but I'm gonna let you control how I feel. The devil is a lie. So when I see you, I have a choice.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about
I think that goes back. I think that goes back to what you said about.
And you're gonna die. You may not die physically, but you're gonna die in my mind. That's all
I was gonna say in my mind.
You did in my mind.
Okay, but I think that's going back to the point that you were. I think that's going back to the point you were saying earlier that you put it's kind of like you put your trust and into the wrong people to do the wrong things for you. Like you gotta know what purpose people
Yeah.
serve for you in your life type deal. But we are about to take a break, and
But
when we
I'm
get
still
back,
gonna ask you a question.
we are about to take a break,
When we come
and
back
when
from
we
the
get
break.
back, we are gonna have more conversation with the person who inspires me on a daily, and that's Miss Sonya McKinney. Now, hell, Mama, you gotta let me talk sometime too. You're doing amazing though. You're doing amazing, for real.
You didn't tell him I can't call people names that shit.
Huh?
You didn't tell him I could call people names that shit. What I say first?
Don't say. I mean, only if we talking positive about people. You're not calling out people's name for nothing else, okay?
Maybe he ain't listened to it. Just listen to it.
I mean, I don't care if he is or ain't. But I just don't want to call nobody's name. That's how you can start getting sued if anything ever blow up and get big. I'm not trying to get sued.
Well, if you said we talking about somebody else, I ain't need no man. I get those out of me.
Hold on, I'm just waiting for this other.
But how long you gonna stay on break?
I'm just waiting for this one clip to process to make sure it's in my library, and then we're gonna go right back to the recording. What you been doing today?
I went to the beach shop early this morning. I ain't had my hair fixed in about a month. I thought I wasn't gonna have no hair, but
Listen,
it didn't do real bad.
it's been about 2 for me, but I finally redid it. Like
But I had just got some down, and when I got the coronavirus, then I got it and she got it. So that was 4 weeks in a month. I've been running around here like Eddie Kane off the what Eddie Kane was on 5 Heartbeats of the Temptation, 5 Heartbeats.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
So you need to do a podcast with people about how men grow up without their dad.
I mean, listen, Penunia is on my list
I'm
of
talking
people
about
of inspiration.
like,
People is on my Penunia is on my list of people of inspiration. Mama, I got this. I know what I got this. No one need to talk to, make some good content.
About you want to deal with it. There ain't nothing you can do. You can go there breaking the folks, boy. You can go to prison to 10.
Hold on, my.
So what kind of green did you get?
Collard.
Ooh, I fix my back so they so good. But I can't fix my black eyed peas like you did that time for me. I don't know if I was sick or what. You cooked them black eyed peas in their house and Trey Better so good.
Man.
Ooh, the black eyed peas, man. They taste like food.
Child, everything else don't taste like yours, so don't feel bad.
I don't like black eyed peas. I ate them yesterday.
I actually like black eyed peas.
You know them?
Yeah, a little bit. I like them now. That ain't got older yet. So we are back. Boom, boom, boom. We back. And we're finna spend the last 15 minutes not talking about nothing we just talked about. None of that. Okay. So get it out your mind. Okay. One thing that, the reason I'm doing this is because I've never really done anything, because I'm not a real selfish person, so like throughout life, like even in school, like growing up and stuff, like I never did anything just solely for myself or for any praise for myself. I've always done other things for those people who inspire me. So it's like you, Aunt Sis, and Michelle, and just all the people in my life. Even Monk actually, like he at one point was very inspirational to me. I always did things like in my mind and like to myself. I always did things like a little accomplishments and stuff in dedication to you all, because I think y'all are dope people and y'all have interesting stories, and so that's why I want to spend the next 15 minutes just talking about your life's journey in your words, like just starting from wherever you want to start, going to wherever you want to go to. I really don't want to get back on these topics, but tell us about like your life journey.
Oh, well, this ain't gonna be no real.
I'm talking about the good stuff. Cause you used to, Mom. You went to college. Like, come on.
My life journey had. What you say?
Go ahead.
My life journey has been more of a trilogy instead of a journey. It's first part of my life when I was a small child. I grew up in a household with a lot of anger and resentment, but it's still at the same time nurturing and caring. But I think they were just taught. My mom was a young girl. She was actually a girl when she married my dad.
How
My
old
dad
was
should have
she?
been like that, but back then, that's what they were doing.
How old was she?
And because
How old was she?
mom was, she was 15 or 14 when she got with dad, and she was 18 when she had me. And because of she was a child and she was making childhood decisions in the grown folks' world, they didn't pan out well. So I was the product of all of those bad decisions. So she still to this day harbors a little sense of resentment against me. So I had to walk in that shadow of darkness for a long time. It took me being grown and mature to really sort through that and figure that out. But nonetheless, when I was in school, I didn't have any kind of aspiration or inspiration to try to be the best in school. So I just went through the motions.
But hold on,
And all through my time
pause, because I remember
in
this
school,
story.
high school.
I remember this
No,
story.
no. In high school, grammar school, that's the honest God truth. It ain't, I don't know care what the grades you say. That's the truth. But when I think I can, my earliest memories of anything in life is always wanting and looking for somebody to just love me. And that's what too. I can remember when I was a little child, I had the coolest two grandmamas in the world. So my mother's mama, Granny, that was my founding board. And she and I were talking one day, and I remember telling her, I said, Granny, if I ever marry a man and he has kids, I'm not going to treat those kids the way I've been treated. And she said, don't you ever forget that. And I took that with me, and I still bring that with me now. And that image right there shaped a whole lot of my life.